Yo, what's up YouTube? My name is Chisha. I am back in here with another video for you guys. So I wanted to touch on this Lorie and BOOSIE situation, man. It popped up on my timeline, right? And I shared it on my Instagram story. And I thought it was interesting, especially people's reactions to the whole situation. Is that situation a double standard? Now, what made me make this video was actually a DM that I received from one of my followers. And what they asked me was, oh, if you want to follow me on Instagram, Chisha, just search Chisha on IG. What this particular female friend asked me was, why is it that when men run through a bunch of women, right, they're praised for it, they don't get the same backlash or the same treatment, right? And it's not looked down upon. But when a woman runs through a bunch of men, now it's a problem. And I understand the question, it made sense. And I thought about it for a little bit and I said, you know what, I'm gonna really need to touch on this and make sure I'm careful with how I present this information. First off, full disclaimer, I wanna say this, man or woman, right, should have the right to live the life that they choose. No one should dictate it, but also along with that, they should accept the consequences that come with their decisions that they make. So, is this situation a double standard? Let's get into it. The first thing I want to do is ask you a simple question, right? When it comes to what makes a man valuable, now we're talking about dating, right? Who decides what makes a man valuable? Between men and women, who decides what makes a man a valuable man, right? Who decides the criteria that makes that man high or low on the SMV chart, sexual market value, right? If you're not sure, I'm going to answer the question for you. Women decide. Women decide. Women decide what is considered a high value male in most cases. As far as the dating market, that's what we're talking about here. Now, you may say, listen, I don't value the same thing everybody else is, but we're talking in generalities here. We're not talking about your specific situation. In general, women decide, hey, you know what? Women like men who are taller, right? Women like men who have some muscle on them, right? Those things are primal. Those things are attractive. On top of that, they want a man who's ambitious, right? Most women want a man who's a provider, and we call that hypergamy. We're not going to go into that, but women decide what makes a man valuable and what doesn't. So having said that, it's also safe to assume that what makes a woman valuable to a man is decided by who? Men. Men want feminine women, right? Men prioritize looks a lot more than women do, right? And you can't tell, you see, in this situation, the first example I gave, women, that's the market. That's the market and men are the product. And they're shopping for men, and amongst themselves, the market, which are women, decide, hey, this is what we want from men. It's collective. You can never tell the market what to do. It decides for itself. It could change sometimes, but there's certain things that just never change that women value about men. Now, if you look at women, right, we notice that we live in a time where men have said, hey, we like a girl to have some ass. It's a big deal right now. Now, whether you have a big ass or not, this is not about you. Don't make it about you. All I'm saying is society has decided, men have decided right now that that's something that's important. Whether you want to blame the media or the music we listen to, whatever. We have sucked it up and now we're pushing it, right? And you can tell it's everywhere. So what am I talking about? What am I saying with this? Okay, listen. Let's talk about men running through a bunch of women, right? We've got a man who runs through a bunch of women. When it comes to his sexual market value, does a man who runs through plenty of women, is he losing points, right? Is he devalued because he runs through a bunch of women? The answer is no. In most cases, a man who runs through a bunch of women doesn't lose value, right, amongst women, because they're deciding who to pick to date. In fact, a man who runs through a bunch of women is actually considered more desirable, right? This is the alpha male. You can see that with celebrities, right? If a man has a lot of women and he's busting cheeks out here in the streets, it's a good thing. We can't deny that it's a good thing, not only with men, but women also do not take points off a guy who attracts a lot of women and also takes opportunities with a lot of women. Most women don't. We can see that with celebrities. If you ever went to high school, you see the guy that gets all the girls. Everybody wants him. Now, let's turn that around, right? Let's turn that around and say a woman now is running through a bunch of men. The market now is men and the product now is a woman. How do men in general view a woman who runs through a bunch of men? They don't like it. They don't like it. Now, you could say it shouldn't be that way, but that's just the way it is. Personally, I think a woman should do what she wants. But in the day that we're living in, there's consequences. Hence, Lorie Harvey in the spotlight. For some reason, when it comes to a serious relationship or marriage, men aren't comfortable taking a woman seriously, right, for a relationship. They'll bust some cheeks. But they're not comfortable taking a woman seriously who is running through a bunch of men. It's just the way it is. So you might ask, well, how come men can do it? Well, because women allow it. It's not a big deal. Who's to blame for that double standard? Women. I'm sorry, you don't want to hear this, but it's the truth. Women don't care when a man is running through a lot of women. They don't. In fact, he's considered more desirable. Why? Because a man who's running through a lot of women is showing social proof that a lot of women are attracted to him, right? And usually when a woman sees that about a man, she sees him as higher value. That adds to him. It doesn't take away. Who's to blame? Women are. In general. In general. So how do you fix that? Now you could say that you're going to start telling women to treat men who run through a lot of women the same way that men treat women who run through a lot of men. But good luck. You see, what you have to understand here is it's not about a double standard. It's that men and women want different things. They just want different things. Now, do I agree with it? Can we live in a world where men can do what women do and women can do what men do and we all just be happy and blah, blah, blah? I would love it to be like that. But the point is, it's not like that. Here's an example, right? Most women aren't comfortable with a man who's more emotional than they are. Most women don't want a man who's a crybaby. Listen, I've had this conversation with a lot of women, and this is what stuck out to me. Women would tell men to express themselves and be emotional and let your feelings out. But men know that if you cry in front of a woman, right, more than she cries in front of you, and sometimes even cry at all, she sees you as less of a man. Now, I know what you women are saying right now. Oh my gosh, what type of women are you dating? That is not me. I would never do that. You're lying. You're lying. Listen, I talked to a bunch of women. I've been in situations. I've seen the difference that a woman shows to you, the respect she shows to you when you can hold your emotions together. Now, men can whine and say, oh my gosh, I wish we could express our emotions. This is BS, man. It's not cool. But it's still not going to change the fact that some women will not give you the opportunity, right? They won't be attracted to you if they see you as a weak, emotional man. The market decides, man, and women have said, hey, we don't want weak men. Most women don't want a man who cries more than they do. They don't want a man, some women don't want a man who cries at all, right? Unless if it's something serious. What my dad told me is, hey, man, if you need to cry, go in the bathroom, lock the door, right, and let it out. But you should be the last man to cry in your home, you know, as the man or in your relationship, whatever else you got going on. So I want to entertain a few different thoughts that I've had. Why the double standard, right? Why is it that men are praised, right, for running through a lot of women? I want to entertain some different ideas, and women are shunned. The first thing I can think of is the hard work. And these are just ideas, right? You can agree or disagree. The hard work. To be honest with you, for a man to get laid, it takes game, it takes skill, it takes a lot of hard work, right? So whenever a man sees another man who attracts a lot of women, right, and is out here busting cheeks left and right, fast, not slow, they congratulate him. Why? Because they know it's not easy. It takes game. But let's be honest. How much game does it take for a woman to have sex? Not much. And if you're telling me it takes the same amount of effort, you're lying. It's not true. Right? That could be one reason men don't really congratulate women for that, right? And there is a perceived double standard. I'm not taking away from the fact that women have to do something, right, to get the men that they want. But in most cases, you don't see books out here that are titled How to Get a Man to Have Sex with You. You just don't see that. Why? Because it's easy. Again, these are just theories, guys, but my next one is maybe there's like a primal element to all this stuff, right? If we're looking at this from a strictly like biological standpoint, a woman can only give birth to a child like once a year. But a man, if he wanted, could impregnate a different woman every day of the year, if he wanted, and birth hundreds of children and maybe even potentially thousands. And maybe there's something within men that understands that on like a primal level, and we just are naturally not cool with the woman who is just out here running through a bunch of men. I'm trying to understand here. I'm trying to see, right? We're having a conversation. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. My last theory is that maybe there's like a jealousy factor with men. I'm open to that as well, right? That men are so greedy and so selfish that when they see a woman who's out here just giving it out, especially somebody as fine as Lorie Harvey, we can agree that she is an attractive woman, right? When they see that, it's hard for them to accept that it's not them. I could see that. I could honestly see that. That one sounds more realistic to me than probably the last two I said. You know what I mean? That first one's pretty good too. But anyways, I say all this to say, man, we're never going to get a perfect world where men act like women and women act like men, right? As in they value the same things. It's just not going to happen. You can't change the market, right? Men are out here, right? They get better jobs. They improve their body. They hit the gym. They make more money. What fuels them? What fuels them are those standards that women set a lot of the times. Is there anything wrong with it? No. You don't complain, right? You go and improve. So as a man out here, make sure you're improving. Why? Because it will improve your chances. As a woman out here, listen, do what you want. Go run through bodies. I'm cool with it. As a guy who's had his moment, you know, where I was doing my rotation thing, I was happy for those women who are out here just, you know, running through men. It was nice. But it comes with some consequences, man. Last thing I got to say, I heard a really good point one time from AMS, actually. He said something along the lines of, a lot of this stuff is perception, right? So think of Lorie Harvey. She's a celebrity. We see her every dating move. That could play a role in a lot of men thinking that she is some type of like a hoe. It could play a role in that, and probably does, right? A lot of this stuff is perception. All it takes for most women nowadays is to mess with two friends who know each other a little bit too well, and all of a sudden they're looking down on you, right? There are women here who do this thing the smart way, man. They'll mess with guys who are out of town, who are out of the city, and they don't get those labels. Why? Because they're being strategic and they understand how the market works with men. And if you don't care and you're willing to take the blows and don't want to be, you know, singled out for losing value or be looked down upon, then do you, man. But just wanted to touch on this. I thought I'll bring some new perspectives. Maybe, you know, you've had these thoughts yourself. My name is Chisha Zed. Thank you guys so much for checking out my video. We'll talk soon. If you liked this video, please leave a like down below. Let me know what you think. We'll talk soon, guys. All right, later.